Hello, we are live. As always, I'm gonna give a couple seconds for hop-ons because this is a live event and I do know that a lot of you don't get notified that I am live for like a hot minute. So hello, welcome. If you are new to me, my name is Shakti, and I'm a human design and manifestation mentor. So if you're into human design, you want to learn more about human design, you are absolutely in the right place. Welcome. Today's topic regarding human design is going to be around purpose. And I did a live stream a few weeks ago showing you where to find purpose in your chart. What are the things that I look at when I am having a session with someone and we are talking about purpose? What is purpose? How do I find it? And then I had a lot of questions about the basics of human design, which we covered the week before. Now, unfortunately, my replays of these lives, even though I have them, I can't upload them to Instagram anymore because they've removed the ability to do long form video. So what I'm gonna end up doing is uploading them to my YouTube channel, which up until now, my YouTube channel has been pretty dormant, but I'm going to reinstate it. And so all of the replays from these lives will be on my YouTube channel. And so you can go watch them there if you miss any part of any of these live events that I do. Okay, so welcome. I see you guys are hopping on. So today's conversation with human design is going to revolve around the purpose vortex. What is that? A lot of times when I end up in a session with a student, someone who is aspiring to understand their design more, I really refer to my clients more as students than I do clients. I see them as a student. I see myself as a teacher. I see myself as someone who's here to help you understand your direction using your design blueprint. Purpose comes up a lot, especially lately. There is so much of a calling for why am I here? What did I come here to do? What did I come here to offer this matrix, this world that I'm in? There's got to be a reason behind my existence, behind why my fractal chose to embody. And I think that an event like COVID was the crisis point that triggered a lot of this for the majority of humanity. While some of us have been on this path of seeking for purpose for a while, the majority of people weren't really asking that question. And this is linked to who we are as a species and the fact that the majority of us are really still operating on this splenic pulse. The spleen in human design, which is actually, I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can, this is the splenic center in human design. Our society has really been a splenic-based society for a long time. And the spleen governs health. It governs the ability to know what's healthy for us, what's not healthy for us, what's safe, what's not safe. It's also really based on fear, the fear of survival. It's also the center for intuition, ironically. This is why a lot of people have a hard time deciphering the difference between, is that my intuition speaking or is that like a fear-based thought? I get that question a lot as well when I'm in mentoring sessions. This is why, because the spleen is both. And understanding the language of the spleen, my authority in human design is splenic. So this is like my whole life is being able to decipher the narrative of the spleen versus the fear, right? So the mental fear, which is very different. So we as a human species have been very splenic based, meaning that our survival, our basic survival has been incredibly important to us. Things like housing, food, clothes, basic survival needs, making sure that we don't get eaten, that we don't get attacked, that we don't get, taken over or whatever. We as a collective have been super splenic focused, but we are changing as a species. And what used to be priority is becoming not that anymore. And part of the human design education, part of what came through was that we are headed into a place of mutation. And in 2027 is when we begin to see the fruits of that mutation take place. We've been mutating for a long time. Those of you who follow any galactic conspiracy history know that we as a species were way more advanced than we are now. We've experienced an energetic mutation that we're trying to get ourselves out of. And we're headed into another mutation come 2027. What that means, simply put, for a collective, is that we are moving from being a splenic focused being to being an emotionally focused being. The emotional center is kind of blocked off here by this image, but it's right there. It's a triangle. It's the only triangle that's like not in the picture. The emotional center right there. The emotional center in human design, the solar plexus, we understand it to be the seat and center of creativity, of emotional well-being. Physically, it also corresponds to digestive system, to the way that you digest reality. It is loosely correlated to the solar plexus chakra, although in design we understand that what was one split into two, so that solar plexus chakra is actually combined of the spleen and the solar plexus, and they have different functions. But the emotional wellness, our emotional wellness is actually becoming the priority for us as a species. It's no longer the spleen, the fear, the basic survival needs being met. It's now our emotional well-being. Are we fulfilled? Are we well emotionally? Are we minding our feelings? Do we even have the space for that? And what we're seeing in real time that's happening is people are being fed up with a system, and particularly professionally, careers, jobs, that they went into from a splenic pulse. They went into from their needs being met, right? We got this job because we needed our basic needs met. We need the income, we need the benefits, we need whatever. And we're realizing that that is no longer enough for us. And even though we feel like, okay, I should be grateful, I should be okay, we're not. So many of us are not. We are unhappy as fuck, even though our basic needs are being met. We are not satisfied. We're feeling this gaping hole inside of us and we're wondering what the fuck. That is because we are mutating. We are actively changing. And those needs being met are no longer the standard threshold of us being okay. It's like super basic. Like that's just not even, it doesn't meet the need. It doesn't meet the need. So if you're this person, let me know in the comments if this is you, if you're actively experiencing this, if you're someone who's should be okay, but you're actively experiencing distress or discomfort, or like a crisis point is coming upon you. Because you're not alone. You're not alone. I cannot tell you how many sessions I've sat in doing design reports for people, hearing the same story. It's like different people, same story, same story, same story. And this has been going on for months. It's been a lot. People just burning bridges left and right, leaving the job they've had for 20 years, a whole career they went to school for, and then they're like, fuck it, and they're doing something else, starting a business, whatever. It's happening a lot en masse. As a result of that, I created the Purpose Masterclass, which I'm hosting in August. There's 2 sessions for it. There's a morning session, August 17th, which is pretty soon. And then there's an evening session, August 31st. So if you want to learn more about the Purpose Masterclass, the link is right in my profile. So if you're following me, click on there, and it's the first link about the Purpose Masterclass. You'll read a little bit about it, and you can enroll from there. But I created that. It's a 2-hour masterclass for me to look at your chart and for me to help you understand what are the purpose markers of your chart. So if you are in this place where you are transitioning and you don't know where to go and you don't know what choice to make, that you have an understanding of what you came here to contribute as a soul. Because if you are a student of manifestation and if you believe that you are magnetizing things to you on a regular basis, do you imagine that that would be easier if you actually understood why you're here? If you actually understood what was the energy blueprint for your design, what did it come here to contribute, what does it value, how does it communicate the thing that it values, right? Searching for a job or a career or a project or a business would be hella easier if you understood that, if you had the basics of understanding your energy blueprint, right? Instead of trying to fit yourself into whatever box already exists, if you understood what your soul actually came here to contribute, game changer, game changer. Because now what'll happen is when you go into that job interview or you go to start that business, you'll have this metric by which to measure your coherence with that job, by which to measure your coherence with that project or that business. Because you'll have this metric, this understanding of your field, of what you came here to contribute. And with that understanding, you then get to pair up to this opportunity and you get to say, okay, is this coherent or is this incoherent? Is there a coherence here between me and this thing, or isn't there, right? If you don't have the basic understanding of your energy blueprint and what you came here to contribute, it's always a hit or miss. You don't really know what you're going for. You don't know what you're targeting. You're hoping this next job is going to be a good fit, but you don't really know that until you're there for a few months, and then you're like, shit, this isn't what I wanted either, right? So if you know your design that way, the purpose markers of your design, it makes it hella easier for you to say yes or no to things that are being offered to you with certainty. With certainty. Keyword, operative. Word there. Right? So that's why I created the Purpose Masterclass. That was the whole point. So if you are someone who is wanting to understand this, then that masterclass was deliberately designed for you. The seats are limited because I can't do a million charts in 2 hours. I can only do a handful of charts in 2 hours. So once we reach cap, we reach cap. Right now I have 8 seats left on the evening session, the 31st, and about 10 in the morning session on the 17th. Okay, just for FYI. Now, Purpose Vortex. What is your Purpose Vortex? The reason I want to answer this question is because a lot of people think that purpose is something that you do, like a job. Like, my purpose is gardening. Right? Like, they think that purpose it translates immediately into like a tangible thing that you're doing with your body or your energy. And in reality, what purpose is, it's a field of energy that you embody all of the time. So it's not like you can turn purpose on and off. You came in to the planet with this field already intact for you. Right? Which we look at when we look at your design chart, when we look at your body graph. We see what that field was. But you don't always understand what I like to refer to it as like the field of your dharma, of what you really came here to contribute to the world, to the collective. And it's something that you are embodying in your aura. So if we understand your aura type, right, we're going to start with types of human design. You are a manifestor, you're a projector, you're a generator, you're a manifesting generator, you're a reflector. This is the general architecture of your aura. Your architecture of your aura is one of those types. Within the architecture of your aura, you then have this signature dharmic field, okay, that is individual to you, related to the positions of certain key planets in your chart. And when you step into that field, because you understand, okay, this is what my purpose vortex is, these are the energies, the frequencies that are governing my purpose. When you start working with that, you create this like tornado of energy around you. Like a vortex, literally, like a portal. Think of it like this portal that swirls around you. And the more you start embodying that energy of that, like, yes, this is the frequency of my purpose. This is really what I came here to explore, to value, to become deliberate in. When that starts to swirl around you, you start to create magnetism. You start to create magnetism, and it starts to pull from the magnetic monopole, from this center right here. You start to pull towards you things that are coherent with that vortex. So your vortex is activated and it is spinning, and now you're sending out a frequency of what you want to receive. And then opportunities that match that are coming into your sphere, lining up, docking with your frequency portal, right? Click, they dock into your portal, and then you get to live into that thing, that job, that business, that project, whatever that thing is, as a match to your vortex. okay? And here's the thing. If you're not activating your vortex, if you're not becoming aware of your purpose vortex and you don't understand what that is, then it's really deactivated. It's there, but it's not active. It's not whirling, it's not moving, it's not doing what it came here to do, because you're not working with it, you're not activating it, right? So what ends up happening is you then are attracting to you whatever else your frequency is paying attention to. This is the basics of law of attraction. This is the basics of manifestation. Wherever else your consciousness is focused, which in this case would be not on your purpose, not on your dharmic field, just on whatever. I don't like this job. I'm so tired of this job. Life feels hard. Whatever frequency you're frequently emitting, that's what you're going to become more of a target for. So the opportunities that are going to become presented to you are going to match desperation, despair, unhappiness, too long hours, no time with my family, blah, blah, blah. That's what's matching you. So that's what you're going to see. That's a reticular activating system. This is science. You're only going to see through the sphere, through the lens of what you're perceiving. Okay? So if there was an opportunity that matched your dharma, you wouldn't be able to see it because you're not paying attention to your dharmic field. You're paying attention to all the problems that you have. So you're limiting your sphere of perception, and you can only become a match for things that make you unhappy, continue to make you unhappy purpose-wise, okay? But when you are paying attention to that dharmic field, when you understand what that is, you then open your field of vision. You start to pay attention to different things. And that's when you start to notice opportunities that match that field, okay? This is no different than when you are looking to buy a car. Everybody gives a car example because it's true. You're like, I want this red Honda Civic, right? I want to buy a red Honda Civic. And then you go out, start driving in the street, and all of a sudden you're seeing red Honda Civics freaking everywhere. Like you never noticed them before, but now they're literally everywhere. Why? Because you opened your sphere of perception to pay attention to certain parameters. And those parameters were a red Honda Civic, right? So now you're paying attention to that. This is why understanding your chart in general, foundational reports are like a must, but the purpose markers in your chart, if you're looking for a transition in your life, new job, new career, new business, whatever, understanding the purpose markers and working with that field expands your parameters of understanding of who you are and allows you to see opportunity that matches that. It allows you to understand what is you, what is correct. Right? Is this making sense? Is this making sense the way I'm really trying to break this down? This can be kind of a complex conversation, but I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you to absorb because this is super important. Whether or not you attend my Purpose Masterclass, I hope that you're receiving value from this and that you are looking at where you are in your life in a new way and understanding why you feel dissatisfied, maybe with a language that you didn't have before. Right? This dissatisfaction, it's not just you being picky, it's not just you being ungrateful. No, it's you feeling the general dissatisfaction that's happening collectively with the just getting by energy that we've been accepting for a while. And I talk a lot about this center right here because this is a center of worth, okay? 70% of the population has this undefined or open, which means you have no consistent way of accessing a sense of worth. I just made a video on that on my profile, you can find. So without a consistent way of experiencing worth, you are more susceptible to fall into situations, jobs, contracts, projects that are not a good match for you. So if you don't understand your Dharma field and you have an undefined will center, you're in for a ride when it comes to finding the correct job or the correct business. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna feel like you can't find a damn thing that you like and nothing feels right. Because with an undefined will center, you are either gonna be a doormat professionally and personally in your romantic relationships. You're gonna be a doormat. You're gonna let people violate you, walk all over you, like betray your trust, or you're gonna become a narcissist. Because when you don't feel enough, You can tip the scale far enough that you end up being a narcissist and you end up abusing other people. Okay, that's the fucked up part about that center. That center will ruin your whole life if you're not working with it correctly. Okay, 30% have it defined. I happen to have it defined. I'm really grateful that I have that center defined. I don't have a lot of other things defined, but I'm really grateful I have that one defined because I've never really struggled with that. I did a little bit when I was really young, but it was really short-lived. And then I learned my lesson. It never happened again. Okay, so I have a consistent access to my will, but most of humanity doesn't. So I'm sharing this because it's important for you to understand. By the way, if you don't have your chart, if you don't know what the heck this is, you're watching me, you're like, what is this? On my profile, if you click on the link in my profile, you're going to see free resources. Underneath the free resources, it says get your human design chart. If you're new to design, get your chart. It'll take you right to my website. I have a chart generator right on my site, ShaktiRios.com. Generate your chart. Look at it. See if this is open, for one. This is separate from astrology. Human design is not astrology. And a lot of times people like to compare or say that they're similar. They're not at all. The only thing that's similar between human design and astrology is that we use planetary positioning as well. But the way that we use planetary positions is we look at the hexagrams. This is an I Ching thing. The hexagrams that the planets are in at any given point in time. And what that information is for us is it tells us what the fractal of energy. So you have the planet, which is like a lens cover. So if you imagine a camera, right? A camera's taking a picture. There's a lens cover that's the planetary influence in human design. And then there's the gate lens. So we are filtering fractal of energy by planetary influence and then by hexagram gate influence into a person, right? So human design has two different things that we look at, which is very different than astrology. Astrology looks at the moment that you were born and the imprint of birth. In human design, we have two different things we look at. If you look at your chart, there's going to be two columns. There's going to be one column here and one column here. This column, the personality column, the conscious column, is the same as astrology in the sense that it denotes at the moment of your birth what the impact was of those gates on those planets on your chart. But what human design has that astrology doesn't have is the design date. The red column in a traditional chart, or the column here on the left that says design, this gets set 88 days before your birth. 88 days before your birth, your design crystal, which has to do with your ancestry, your genealogy, past lives, your design crystal gets nestled right here in your ajna. That's 88 days before birth. This is when you are actually conceived. This is when the soul fragment enters the body, the identity of that little being enters the body and becomes a design crystal right here. Your personality crystal settles right here in the head and the mind. Okay? And we are actually held together in the illusion of solidity by this center, the G center, gravity center right here. So we appear solid because we're held together by the energy of the G center, which is actually a magnetic monopole. It's how we attract things into our lives, right? So we are held together in the illusion of firmness there. But again, human design includes things like the chakra system, Kabbalah, the I Ching, astrology. It is actually a synthesis of Eastern and Western systems. It is very complex and very mechanical, but it is also extremely precise and very powerful. And a lot of times when I'm doing a foundational reading or report on someone, they'll say, this is like your psychic. Like you're telling me about me and I feel like you're just reading my life. Why? Because there are certain demarcations in a chart that'll tell me if you were likely to experience things like sexual abuse in your life, if you were likely to have body image issues or body image dysmorphia, if you were born with a rare birth defect and you came into the world with a rare birth defect. I can see those things in your chart, not concretely, but I can ask you because certain demarcations lead to that, right? So there's a lot that you can read out of looking at someone's body graph to help them actually understand how they were designed to operate at their best, at their optimal. If this triangle is white, that is undefined. If you have no gates at all, so if the four numbers that are in this center, there's none of them are colored in or circled, that means it is open, completely open. There's no filter for how you access that center. If you have some gates activated, that means that you do have a filter for the experience of the energy of that center, but it is not consistent. You don't have consistent access to that center. And again, 70% of the population has that white. So that's the majority of humans. Okay. So there's a lot of information that your chart can give us. It is quite different than astrology. I've also studied astrology and I love astrology. It's just a different form of information. This happens to be the system that spoke to my brain, that when I experienced it and I understood the architecture of my aura, it changed my life. It literally, I'm a projector. I went from being someone who struggled so much to make way in my reality to being someone that was highly sought after for my skill set and for my knowledge. And all of that came from understanding my design and from just working differently with the architecture of my aura, night and day. So I'm particularly passionate about putting this in the hands of anybody who is seeking to be seen in this matrix of reality in a way that feels organic and feels gentle, you know, without like having to push your way to be recognized and seen. One of my 4 numbers there is black. Yeah, so if you have a gate activated, that means that you have some filter. If you share the number, then I'll give you a brief little explanation of what you're looking at energetically with that number. The black, if in the traditional chart, simply means that it's from your personality or your conscious side. If you're looking at a traditional chart and it's red, that means it's from your design side. Those are the 2 different dates that we look at, the neutrino imprint of a baby, the fetal imprint of a baby. And so conscious numbers you tend to be aware of, the personality numbers. The design numbers in your chart you are not that aware of. And a lot of times that's where you have a lot of karma, a lot of family karma. A lot of the family drama gets pulled up through those design numbers. A lot of past life drama gets pulled up through those design numbers. Looking at your design side, I can pretty get a good image of the struggles that you have faced because of ancestry versus your soul. Ooh, the number 26. I also have the 26. So a little bit about the 26. This is about integrity. This gate is traditionally known as the gate of the salesman or the trickster because people, when they have this ability, they're really good salespeople. They have the ability to sell people on whatever they want. And it's really about understanding the integrity behind what you're selling. And that's really important. If you are trying to sell someone on a concept or a product or a thing out of integrity, where it's like you don't really believe in the thing, so you're just doing it because you want to get access to something, then that is extremely problematic in the presentation of the 26, and it tends to bite you in the butt. Depending on what planet that 26 is located in, it tells you more about how the 26 is going to show up in your life. But if you have the 26 at all, integrity is a huge theme in your life, and it's really important that you look to resolve wherever you're out of integrity in your reality. And again, depending on the planetary placement, that tells me more about where you might struggle with the shadow of integrity. But that's a really significant gate. So this was my little spiel on purpose and the purpose vortex. Now, again, if you are just interested in doing something like I want a foundational reading, I have so many ways you can get information on human design. I have a free chart that you can get on my site. Hi, if you're brand new, Ronnie, you can go get your site from your chart from my website. It's free. Go to my profile, get your chart. I'll send you some emails explaining the body graph too throughout the next week so that you can learn a little bit more about what this thing is. I also have a course called Intro to Aura, like Aura Basics. It's the basics of your aura. It's a short presentation, like a mini class. It's only $37. You get to learn how to work with the health, career aspect, raising children with that aura. I think it's really helpful as just like an entry point for understanding the mechanics of your aura. And then I have a PDF that you can get which establishes more details about you, like what is the strategy of that aura? How does that aura interface with the quantum field? How do you make decisions? What are the themes for your life called profile lines? And then I have deeper analysis that I can do. Again, you can access all of those reports and everything on my link to see what is a good beginning point for you to start your journey. But I encourage you, if purpose is something you're bumping up against, If you are someone who is looking to make a transition in your life, like I want a new job, or I want to start a business, or I'm struggling because even maybe you're someone who you're in the right field for you, you're in the right job, or you're in the right business. I feel like I'm talking directly to someone right now. Someone is live right now who is doing what they love, but they're not seeing success. They are struggling to get the clients, to be promoted, to be recognized. If this is you, I'm speaking directly to you. Likely it's because you're not understanding how to work with your aura within that realm of your life. And because you're attempting to interface with your job or your business. Okay, Brandy, perfect. You're attempting to interface with your job or your business from an incorrect dynamic. And so what's happening is, this is where the channeling is starting. What's happening is you are trying to be seen so hard and nobody's paying attention to you. It feels like you're screaming into a void. Like, why don't people want to work with me? Why don't people want to see me? Are you a projector? Because that's very common for projectors, Brandy. Is that your aura type? Because here to tell you, I'm familiar with that story. Yeah, so that's what's happening is you're not being recognized because your aura is not operating correctly. You are a projector? Oh my God, I knew it. It's like the story of every projector I've ever read for. I love that. Okay, girl, listen, some tips. You need to learn to be, you have to wait to be recognized, okay? You can't just initiate things. What you have to do, what you have to work on is putting your wisdom out there, like dedicating yourself to your studies and sharing your wisdom. You're welcome. Get what you need, girl, get what you need. Putting yourself out there and like sharing your wisdom with no agenda, just like sharing what you know and what you're passionate about, and then allowing other people to see you and recognize you. See, what's happening right here with you and me, Brandy, this is very projector dynamic. So I'm just on here sharing something I'm passionate about because I think it's important and I want people to know. And you are recognizing me as a projector that you connect with, and now you want to work with me. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so you need to be recognized by people in your field. They need to see you, experience your mastery, whatever the thing is that you're mastering. And then they say, you know what, Brandy's a projector for me, because the projector is not for everybody. Projectors are for small groups of people. They have their people. They're humans. We are not for everyone. We are for our people. So by you putting yourself out there and allowing people to see you, what you're giving them is an opportunity to taste your aura and to see if you're their projector, because we are the guides of all the types. We are the guides. So then when they sample your aura and they say, yes, Brandy is my projector, and then they reach out to you and they want to work with you, or they recognize you, or they give you a promotion, or whatever the thing is, okay? But projectors a lot of times are trying to initiate without just focusing on like mastering something and sharing from a place of sheer exuberance and then being seen by the other. Okay, that's usually the problem, that they're pushing, right? And then pushing doesn't work. No one's gonna see you if you're pushing. Promise. Doesn't work. So that's just a little taste of like aura information for projectors, if you're on here. So again, this will change your life. This will automatically change the way that you get opportunities, the way that you master opportunities. Understanding the dynamics of your aura is everything. Now, in the Purpose Masterclass, I'm obviously not going over everything in people's charts because it's way too much. I'm specifically talking about purpose markers, but I will talk to you about your type, about your strategy, which is what I did a little bit with Brandy here. I will talk to you about your aura and how you're meant to interface with the quantum realm, because that's important. You know, you need to understand that before you even get into purpose markers. So that will be part of our conversation. So in those 2 hours, I'm going to go through people's charts. I'm gonna look at your things, I'm gonna call you, and if you can't be on live, you can still watch the recording, and I'm still gonna go through your charts, so you're gonna get all the information available, and I will go through all those markers in your chart to help you understand, okay, this is what your purpose vortex looks like, this is what your Dharma field is like, this is how you engage with your Dharmic field, okay? So if you are there, if you are in that place, this message is for you. You're welcome to come join us. And if you're not ready to join us yet, which I totally understand, I've got a lot of free resources in my link for you, a place where you can find your chart. You can start with something that's super low cost, like Intro to Aura Basics. super accessible. You can join my free community, the Sovereign Social. I do tapping sessions in there, EFT. I have another membership in there where I talk about the planetary transits, and I do tapping and meditation there as well. So there's a lot of different access points for connecting and learning more if this is really jiving with you. But I definitely recommend exploring your design to any capacity, because it will change your life, and it will make you, it will validate you. It will validate you. It will make you see yourself in a new way. It will make you appreciate your individuality, like who you are as an individual outside of the homogeny of the collective. Ooh, a manifesting generator. That means that you move fast. You are the fastest of the types, and you're usually doing 5,000 things at once. And that's correct for you. That's correct for you. It's not correct for everyone else, but it is correct for you to be the kind of person that does a lot of things at once just for the sheer enjoyment of it. And you do have a very strong sacral energy, so there's a need to burn that sacral energy. There's a need to make sure that you're moving your energy through your body, or else it gets stuck and it's unhealthy for you. Defined sacral beings, I envy you. I do not have that. All right, my friends. So I hope this was inspiring and fulfilling and helped open your eyes to something new that's different. I do a live once a week, and I will post the event on my profile. So if you follow me, you will see an event link that will say there's a live event on this day at this time, so that you can register to attend and get notified. I try to come on once a week and just feel into like what the collective really needs to hear from time to time. You are so welcome. Honestly, with charts, no. There's no human design books that teach you how to read charts. Those are all like professional programs that you have to invest in to learn how to do that. If you are on my email list and you just ran your chart through my website, I made TikTok videos where I break down the basics of the chart in like a series of like 7 videos, I think it is. So you will actually receive an email. I think it's like 1 email every 2 days for like a week or so. And in the email will be linked my TikTok videos where I talk about the chart and like the basics of the chart, so you know what you're looking at. But as far as HD books for charts, that is like not a thing. HD is still really new, and a lot of the content, you have to be careful what content you're curating as well, because not everybody who talks about HD is really deeply studied in HD, and there's a lot of content that I've come across that is very discordant with the original teachings and with the original transmission. And so I'm giving that little bit of a warning for you to feel it in your body. If you're listening to something that feels like fear-based or discordant, to just listen to that, and if you know about strategy and authority, listen to your strategy and your authority when you're coming across content, because some of the content I've come across is not it. It's not it. Some of it is great, but some of it is lost. So just trust that, work with that. Hopefully that answers your question. I just rambled for it's way too long. All right. You're welcome. All right, you guys. I love you. I love these lives. These are the best. Thanks for hanging with me and learning with me every single week. And hopefully I've made some new friends, and you can catch all my videos on my content. And I will be checking in with you guys next week. All right. Bye.